What is good, everybody? This is Charles from Team COG coming at you guys here with my first place undefeated Generaider Runick deck profile. And guys, I took this to locals. It was like my second day playing this deck. Like I picked it up the night before, literally played a few test hands, and then played practice a little bit, test with some friends, and then took it to locals and went 4-0. There are some minor misplays in the deck that I have done. I'll talk about in my feature match. If you guys haven't checked that out, that came out just a few days ago. But after that, we kind of started correcting things, and we learned, we adapted. But none of the misplays ever contributed to like game-winning scenarios, which is nice. But for all you who don't know, this deck is lore friendly. if it didn't cross like lore wise, I probably wouldn't play this. I'd never touch a Runick card in my life, but the fact that the Runick cards and the Generaider cards like have lore together, like Sleipnir is technically Har, which Har is Odin, is his horse, and then like there's a cool effect like Sleipnir, whenever a card is added from the deck to the hand, it can summon a token, the same stat, same type, same everything as a Generaider token, but just called a Runick token. That's pretty cool. If you guys don't know, there's Runick Allure, which has Lopter on it. Then there's like a fight scene and stuff like that from boss stage and all that type of stuff. So the lore's there. It all comes there. Ymir, not Ymir, but Runick Fountain has Odin's Eye. And as you guys don't know the story with Odin, Odin gave one of his eyes for knowledge, and then like Runick Fountain has one red eye, and then Har has one red eye. Coincidence? I think not. But anyway, we took this locals, went undefeated. The deck is really fun to play, really actually remarkable. You would never think that this would like happen, and some of you are going to be like, well, it's two field spell reliant strategies. How does it work? I'll explain it. I'll go into it. And some of my ratios are a little bit off, and some of my, I picked everything up in a hurry, so I picked up one wrong card in the extra deck, which I'll discuss. Other than that, let's just go ahead and jump into the profile. We won't keep you guys here too long. Let me know down below if you guys want to see like a combo video, test hand video, because I'll probably do one, but if there's a lot of demand for it, I'll get it out as soon as I possibly can. Let's just move on to the main deck here. So to start out with, guys, we're on to 3 Lopter Shadow of the Generaider bosses. This card is technically Loki in lore. It's Loki. He's the deceiver, the trickster god, whatever you want to call it. But he's insane. He is one of your best normal summons in the deck. A quick effect during the main phase, tribute him. Summon any Generaider, level 9 Generaider monster from your deck. Really good starter. One like the best, like I said, the best normal summon in the deck to do. And then during your opponent's turn, all Generaider monsters you control gain 1,000 attack. Not much more can be said here with that. And then to the best next Generaider, this card should have been super or something, is 3 Vala Siltir of the Generaider bosses. This card is what kind of gives the deck like the ability to play. So in a sense, all the Generators are bad cards minus these 2. You never want to see the other Generaider level 9s in your hand, and sometimes it happens. But Vala kind of like helps that. Being able to use discard of Generaider to summon herself and then reborn that same Generaider just allows you to like utilize making an instant rank 9. And she's just solid, man. That's why you play her at 3. That's the only way to say it. She is like one of the playmakers. She does remarkable. On to the next of the Generators. The bad ones you never want to see in your hand. Like these ones, like you never want to see. But again, you can justify playing these, and you could probably get away with playing like one more if you wanted, because Vala and Lopter just allow you to get them out of your hand. Like if you open Mardell and Sense and like Mardell Lopter, well, Mardell's a bad card too. That's like one of those bad. Let's say Hela plus Lopter, normal Lopter, special, tribute special, Mardell grab you Vala ditch Hela, summoner. And you see what I'm saying? So like this card allows you to like kind of mitigates that like playing the bad Generators. But to move on, 1 Mardell, 1 Hela, 1 Har, and 1 Utgardna. So not really much can be said here. Hela is part of the 2-card combo that allows you to hand rip for like 2 or 3 cards. Har is your like Omni Negate. He is in my opinion, he's my favorite card in the entire deck. He is remarkable. He's your Omni Negate. He's your hand rip. He is your biggest attacking monster. He is truly. He's big. He's Odin. That's the only thing I can say. He's Odin. Each one of these guys are like based on Norse mythology, and like they all represent Norse gods. Hela being the god of the dead. Utgarda, I actually believe, is like another name or another form that Loki took. Mardell, they all come from the different type, the 9 realms. That's it for the Generaider monsters here. So as you guys can see, we played a total of 7 Generaider monsters. 4 you never want to see, 6 that you don't care to see. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Arguably, so actually, on a second, hold up. In-depth review here, in-depth talking. You could arguably play 2 Har, because sometimes like a second Har has come up because you open one, and you have to, there's no way to get out. Or you could potentially play, I believe it's the Earth Generaider that lets you tribute itself to summon one from hand. However, again, you're adding in one more Generaider that you do not want to see. And again, even though that Lopter and Vala help mitigate that, you still don't want to risk seeing it. So it's entirely up to you. It's definitely there to play. I do know that some of the people who have topped with this deck has talked about playing 2 Har. Har is remarkable. I think Har, like I said, it's the boss monster of the deck. Every turn, Har is touching down. Har should come from boss stage. And he's also like pivotal to something like your early hand ripping lines. So where like you get access to him through monstrosity and stuff like that. He allows you to like be here, and then like when you like go Jormungandr to draw, Har lets you rip a card. So do keep that in mind as well. But that's for like a more in-depth combo stuff. To the side engine here, we are onto triple Diviner, 1 Trius, and 1 DD Sprite. So Trius Diviner is really good as a 1-card Baron, but it also sends fairies to the graveyard, so you can potentially send Vala and or Lopter, because they are both fairies, so you can send them to the graveyard, and then if you send Vala, you can trigger stuff and do things that way. Trius and Sprite are very soft bricks. They both have the ability to get themselves from the hand, but you'd rather use them by their effects. You know, you'd rather go Diviner, dump this Tribute Diviner, summon this from deck, and then there you go. It just allows you, again, Diviner plus Monstrosity, pretty insane. Monstrosity is like the best card in the deck, and you always want to see it, so that's why I believe in playing like Pot of Prosperity and stuff like that. But these cards are really nice. Like I said, your normal summons in the deck are Diviner and Lopter. Sometimes you don't see either one, and you see Sprite, so you do your thing. Your normal summon Sprite, Synchro for 10, there you go. But there's also some pretty cool lines where you can like Sprite away like Sleipnir or something like that, free up your extra monster zone, summon, Synchro, then Runick out another Sleipnir, and then Monstrosity it. Just definitely tons of lines you can do with that, but that is it for the monsters in the deck. No hand, like I probably would try to fit Ash in, I'm not gonna lie. Ash is just such a good card to draw off of like your fountain, and sometimes you end up drawing Boss Stage. So like you always want, Boss Stage is like the main field spell. So you activate Boss Stage and you draw into a bunch of Runick spells, you gotta set them. You wouldn't mind drawing into an Ash. And Ash is very versatile, it hits everything. It gives you a little bit more reaction, but I hate drawing Ash or a 6-card, man, it's a curse. It's a curse, but space is kind of tight, and a lot of your non-engine stuff is your Runick cards, so like your non-engine cards are Runick, and you want to play them, but anyway, moving on here real quick to 3 Boss Stage, 1 Terraforming, and we'll just go ahead and show Runick Fountain here. So Boss Stage is the best field spell. This is what you want to end on. Runick Fountain's only here to facilitate draws, that's it. Or if you open like a bad hand or a handful of Runicks, Fountain just stays. If you get no access to your Generator engine, Fountain can just allow you to stay in the game, because it's going to allow you to draw during your turn, draw during the opponent's turn. You're going to draw like anywhere between like 4 to 6 cards, and then you can, depending on your hand, of course, and then you can draw into like your Generator side for the following turn. That's it, guys. Like truly, you're going to be like, well, don't you want to have the Runick Fountain? No, you like Runick Fountain's only here for when you open poorly with all Runick cards, or just to draw you cards so you get into Generator Boss. This card is what you want to end on. This card allows you to grind out your opponent. Every time they add a card, you summon a card. You can trigger this card during your turn and during their turn through Jormungandr. A Jormungandr can make them draw a card, trigger to stage summon from deck, and then during their turn, that's when you get all the tokens, and that's when you can like utilize Trius to its full potential, because Trius lets you tribute fairies, and then you get to use some pretty cool effects depending on the number of fairies you tribute. So you can tribute up to tribute 1 to summon it, tribute 2, you get to destroy a card, tribute 3, you get to draw 2 cards, and you apply each of these effects in sequence. So if you tribute 3 of the Generator tokens, you get to destroy a card, you get to summon it, destroy a card, draw 2. It's pretty crazy. So Generator Boss, it has like a lot of synergy with Trius here. And then like I said, Terraforming is just really nice to like pivot into one or the other. If you see stage, or you have the way to search stage, you can Terraforming into Fountain and then get some draws that way. Moving on into the Runick side of the deck, which I know some people are gonna be like, ugh, Runick, right? Like I feel the same way, but I look at it differently now because of lore and because of like how the deck functions. So we are playing 3 Runick Tip, 3 Freezing Curses, and when I picked up my Runick stuff, we were missing a few cards, so this is where like this is where it's a little bit different. I'm onto 2 Destruction and 2 Flashing Fire. Most lists play 3/3. They play just 3 of them all. However, since I was missing 2, I decided to like I said, play Prosperity. So then like if I miss the Prosperity, can like count as digging 6 cards deep to get to one of them. But maybe you should play it. I actually had a lot of issues where I kept drawing into multiples of the same Runick spells that I activated, and sometimes when you're playing first, you don't want to draw into the same cards you've already activated. You want to draw into like Generator cards to extend, to put up a board. So I don't know how I feel about maxing these guys out. I feel like 2 is a good number for sure, maybe. And then 1 Slumber. Slumber kind of sucked, man, I ain't gonna lie. It never came up. I mean, it is an E-tally for a level 9, but so is Tip, Freezing Curses, Destruction, and Flashing Fire. They're all level 9, that's what they all do. Tip can add a card, monster effect negation, spell and trap destruction, special summon monster into destruction. So they all have like non-engine purposes, and they all summon out Sleipnir from the extra deck, which again is level 9, so then you get to start your combo and do some crazy things. But if I were to cut one, maybe cut Slumber, and I say that very loosely, maybe cut Slumber, because you need that name. But I do not know. I'm not too, like I said, it's more testing, more playing is definitely going to allow me to do that. So I hope to be like, this is probably gonna be my deck moving forward for a little bit. Take a little break from Infernoble, so like this will probably be it for a while. So I'll get more testing in and tell you guys that. Moving on to the best card in the deck, which is triple War Legacy Monstrosity. This card is insane. It summons 2 from the deck. It lets you special summon 1 from hand if you brick. This card is really bonkers, guys. This card truly does so much. It is part of, if you open this plus any way to level 9 or any Runick card, like I said, it's a rip 2, maybe a rip 3. And then if you open like boss stage plus boss stage, Runick, this, it's like a rip 4. So with the Omni negate and a monster negate, so it's insane. Definitely main stake in the deck. And that's why I am playing Triple Prosperity. I really don't want, this card only conflicts with one card in the deck, and that's Fountain. And I truly believe like you just gotta like make the executive decision of what's more important. I draw 3 off of Fountain, or a dig 6 for Prosperity. That's pretty much what it is, because Prosperity can get you 6 cards deeper into your Monstrosity, can get you into Runick cards, and so you need like the E-Tellies, can get you into Vala, can get you into Diviner for a normal summon, can get you into Lopter for a normal summon. So that's just my opinion. I don't know if this will stay. I know I noticed that not a lot of lists are playing it, and I believe it's because it conflicts with Prosperity, or Prosperity conflicts with Fountain. I don't regret this card. The only time this card was bad was when I opened 2 of it. That's it. So maybe there's a world where you cut down Prosperity to 2, just so you don't see it as much, because then you lower your chances of seeing it with Fountain because you're playing less copies of it. So like that could be a possibility. Like I said, I don't know. More further testing will tell. For the final 2 cards, I was on to Double Droplet. Droplet was actually remarkable. Those tokens come out and attack, man, and sometimes when time's getting close, they'll jump into battle phase and they'll try to whack over your 1500 token, and then Droplets, which you guys will see in a match coming up soon. Droplets just being able to activate during the damage step to like reduce attack, allows you to do stuff and win. For the final trap, we're playing 1 Generaider boss fight. This card will probably be coming out. I did not like it. I know there's some cool applications, but I never saw it, never wanted to search it. If I was searching anything, I was either searching for another like Vala, Lopter, or boss stage. I'd never searched out boss fight. Boss fight only comes up when you open or have to search like Fountain, because like you can Fountain, do some crazy draws on your opponent's turn, and then activate boss fight to get the field spell from the deck, and then like start doing Generator things. But that was so niche that never even came up. So like I'd much rather have this be like either a 3rd Droplet or be more of a hand trap maybe, and pair with other things. So that's it for the deck. That's the main deck, guys. That is it for the main deck. We'll move on into the extra deck. So moving on to the Runick side of the extra deck, 2 Slifnir, the Runick main, which is Odin's Horse. So this is Freki. Poor Freki, he used the wrong wolf. You have to play the other wolf. I was totally blown away that I didn't grab the right wolf. So don't play that, play the other wolf. 1 Hugin. Hugin's really cool. Hugin has some pretty cool lines where you can search Fountain, and then if you open Trius, you can like Trius Tribute and get rid of the Hugin and stuff like that. So that's it for the Runick cards. Like the most important Runick card is Slifnir. Slifnir is insane. Do note that Slifnir can chain block Generate boss stage, because your opponent will draw for turn, boss stage will trigger, and so will Slifnir. You can go chain link 1 boss stage, chain link 2 Slifnir. You get 1 less token, but you do block and get a monster. You do get your Omni negate. So like in worst case scenarios, the card is actually during my main phase or your opponent's battle phase. It's a quick effect to target an effect monster, and that you both banish till the end phase, or the next standby phase, I believe. I'll read it to you. Banish both of the monsters until the end phase. So like it allows you to like remove monsters and stuff like that for battle. It's really good. Like this card could have been said nothing. It could have had blank effect. As long as it was a level 9 Runick, we'd still play it, because it just helps facilitate so much. Moving on to the Generators, 2 Leviathan, 2 Jormungandr. So these cards are pretty insane. I remember first when Jormungandr first came out, you're like, oh, this card kind of sucks, but now Jormungandr is really nuts. Same with Leviathan. So if you guys don't know, Leviathan is a quick effect tribute, and then however materials it has, it gets to attach that many cards from the field or graveyard to Jormungandr. So it tributes to summon Jormungandr. If it has 2 material, you get to take 2 cards from field or grave and attach to it. Non-targeting, it can be monster, spell, or traps. It just can attach them right to Jormungandr, and then Jormungandr is like, you know what Jormungandr does. You detach a card, we both players draw a card, and then we have to attach a card either from hand or field to Jormungandr. And then since you drew a card, that triggers things like boss stage, Har, Slifnir, and stuff like that. So Leviathan is definitely like, even if you just somehow get 2 level, if you get to Leviathan plus field spell, like that's still pretty insane. Like I said, if Leviathan plus field spell is like it's a gobble for 2, it's a hand rip, it's an Omni negate, and it's pretty crazy. Jormungandr gives a false sense of plussing because it says both players draw. So like your opponent's going to not really interact because they're just going to hear draw, and they'll be like, sweet, and they'll draw, and then you'll be like, all right, you have to attach now to Jormungandr. And then by the way, that's going to trigger Har. And then if it's your turn, you're going to be like, that's going to trigger Har, and that's going to trigger the field spell. And they're like, whoa, what? So you get it's a false sense of plussing for them, but you get all the pluses. But that's it. Maybe one day we'll get another Generator boss. Lore-wise, Leviathan, if you guys can't see, this is Generator boss of shadows. Lopter was the boss, or the shadow of the Generator bosses. So kind of interesting. Moving on, we do play double Phantom Fortress, enter Blafnir. Card allows you to rip 2, and if your opponent actually uses all their hand, you can just start tearing apart their board, going through their graveyard. You know, like, it's pretty good. And if you want to be cheeky, you can start hitting the top of their deck too. It's pretty nice. This card is literally insane. You normally go through 2 of them, which is really, really nice. You rip 2 cards that way. 1 number F0 and 1 Draconic Future. You will do 2 Blafnirs and make it. You can do Blafnir or hard make Jormungandr and then make this. It's just a monster effect negation you can end on. It's pretty nice. It's just something additional that we get to put out. 1 Zeus. Zeus never came up. Arguably, this right here should 100% be Intis, and I'll explain why. So you can normal summon the Diviner, dump any fairy, so you send Intis, pop a card going second, and then Intis becomes level 6. And then if you play the correct Runick card that is not Freki, it's a level 4, so then you can Runick out Freki, and then if you have, like, you know, Fountain and Grave or whatever, you can utilize it to your best potential, and then you can literally synchro for Baron. So this should 100% be Intis. This never came up. And to be honest with you, it never did the normal summon Diviner. Diviner very rarely would have sent Intis in my locals. It was either sending Vala or the Trias, and that's okay. But you want to have the versatility and the option to have it. Moving on to the last XYZ, Infinite Trek Earth Slicer. You can solve like 4 cards. If you're able to get 4 level 9s out, you can go to Leviathan, gobble up 2, summon Jormungandr, Infinite Track, detach, destroy 2. So it just allows you to break the board when you go into the turn where you can't battle phase. So like I said, this is a resource deck. Your entire point is to control the game and resource control. So you're going to out-resource the opponent, and this Infinite Tracker Slicer, along in pair with Leviathan, just allows you to keep their resources off the field and down, so that way when you get to your turn, your turn 3, you're going to hopefully have a battle phase, and you can attack. For the final card, 1 Baron de Fleur. Again, Diviner is a 1-card Baron, and any level 9 plus normal summon of the DD Sprite equals Baron. So at least gets you to something, which is pretty cool. And there's also some pretty cool things you can do. If you use the negate and you have Vala in the graveyard, you're going to be able to, like, standby phase, just go back to the extra, summon out Vala, reborn a card. So, like, there's a lot of utility with Baron. Baron's an insane card. It's probably, honestly, it shouldn't have ever been made, but it is what it is. And then finally, 4 Generaider tokens. I should, maybe one day, they'll give us a Runick token, right? Then we can have, like, 1 Runick token being here for Sleipnir. But that is it for my deck profile, guys. If you remember, comment, like, and subscribe. If you guys have any comments or concerns, questions, go ahead and ask them down in the description below. I will be taking this deck to more locals and testing with it more, so there will probably be a more updated profile coming up as soon as we just get more testing in. This deck is insanely fun. It's kind of weird because it's like control/resource. It's a control/resource deck, but like you do some crazy like 2 to 3 card combos, and you're playing like it felt like Final Fantasy to me, to be honest with you. It felt like I was the main character and I was doing summons to help me fight. So like literally summoning Odin to help me fight, you know, because all the Runick cards have like a first-person perspective on them, right? So like it just felt like the Runick cards were me fighting, and then like I'm Final Fantasy summoning the gods to help. So anyway, guys, please remember, stay safe, stay healthy. This is Charles from Team COG signing out.